The transfer window is starting to hot up, and Manchester United on the verge of two signings, but one is now official. Fred, a defensive midfielder, has been signed from Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, I've got more questions than answers. That's why I've got Sam here from United People's TV to answer a few of these. 50+ million for him, but who is he? Sam, it's Fred.
No, Fred, right. So he's a defensive midfielder, 25, signed from Shakhtar Donetsk. Man City were the team who are most interested in him because Man City played Shakhtar in the group stage of the Champions League. Pep Guardiola was impressed with him. But it looks like City have turned their attention to Jorginho, plays for Napoli, also in their Champions League group. And Man United just... We all thought that Fabinho was the player that we should have signed. Obviously went to Liverpool.
Do you think he was the player that you actually wanted? And you know, like any team, sometimes this happens. Not actually Man United that often. But
if United wanted to sign Fabinho, we could have and would have done it last summer, but we decided not to. Mourinho decided not to. We've gone for Fred instead. And United fans have got to be happy with that. I mean, Brazilians at United haven't always worked out. We've had the De Silva twins, Fabio and Rafael. Everyone loved them. Cleberson, World Cup winner, not so much. Anderson, not so much.
And that's I think that's the worry, isn't there, with Brazilian players who've been playing in Ukraine. You've got the Champions League, and if he's impressing against Manchester City, then that's got to be exciting. But often these Brazilian players, they haven't played in the Premier League and at that kind of level, that kind of intensity. Do you think he's going to be able to sort of walk into that and deal with it? Because people like Cleberson, who was fantastic in the Brazilian League, won a World Cup, struggled when he came to Man United.
It's just the risk you take when you sign a player who has crafted abroad. You know, that's where he's played his football. Every player's going to have to learn and adapt for the Premier League, but you've got to trust Mourinho and you've got to trust his scouts that a midfield of Matic, maybe Fred alongside each other with Pogba in front of him, is a better midfield than we've currently got. And United certainly needed a defensive midfield option and a reinforcement, and Fred is that.
And as a player, what will he bring? What's his kind of history? Because he's not always been a defensive midfielder, has he?
No. So a similar way to Anderson. So when Man United signed Anderson, I keep referring to him because it's a
this is worrying Man United fans.
I'm sorry, but I want to make this point in that he was an attacking midfielder when he was back at Internacional before he signed for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he got pushed deeper and made into this defensive midfielder. And he's now got used to it, he's adapted, it's now his role. But because he's got these natural attacking tendencies, he's not just a...
He's not just a stopper.
No, he's not just going to break the play up and pass it to someone else. He's got the craft and the guile to himself run the ball forward and actually add to the attack as well. And that's pretty exciting because United need that. You know, Fernandinho, you saw how impressive he was for City. We missed that. Matic, as good as he was, brilliant at the start of the season. We missed it when he went off form. And I think that's what Mourinho now has in Fred and Matic. Maybe we'll only play with one defensive midfielder and we use the other as a squad reinforcement and keep switching between the two. We've now got options, whereas previously we had a starting 11, and that's pretty much it. And
the other good point that Sam kind of makes there is that in terms of options of Matic or Fred, they're not the same player, although they might play in the same position. Because Fred's little, isn't he? He's a little guy. Yeah, which is not like Mourinho. He doesn't normally do that.
No, it's like if you look at Mourinho's list of signings that he's made at United, we've got Lindelof, he's massive, Pogba, Ibrahimovic, big players across the pitch.
And he's always done that, hasn't he, his whole career?
Last two signings, Alexis Sanchez and Fred, with the combined height of probably Zlatan Ibrahimovic. No, they're both about 5'6", but that's tiny. Especially for a defensive midfielder. So he's not going to be in there elbowing everybody. I don't know what he's going to do.
Maybe he's a replacement in terms of Carrick, in terms of seeing the passes and stopping it in that way instead of sort of having that physical prowess. But what does this mean for maybe another player with a bit of physical prowess? Fellaini.
Goodbye!
Finally! This coming from the guy who's both slated him for months and also apologised on United People's TV.
No.
Is it the end of him? What about Ander Herrera? What does this mean for Manchester United's midfield?
It means, it's going to be a big year of change in the midfield. Carrick's retired now, so there was immediate replacement was needed. Fellaini is not good enough to start in central midfield for any Premier League team anymore.
Not even Arsenal.
Not even Arsenal, but maybe that will happen.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? Drive.
Emery's first two signings being Lichtsteiner on a free transfer and Fellaini on a free transfer. It's hardly the new coming that Arsenal fans have wanted. Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to Man United. Sorry, Arsenal fans, don't just like the video. But United, the player I'm worried about is Ander Herrera, I suppose, because I think his name is going to be first on the team sheet that gets pushed to the side by Fred's arrival in terms of being a similar type of player. And Ander Herrera was in the squad a lot last year. Mourinho didn't use him that much. When he did towards the end of the season, Ander Herrera was great. But just the thing you've got to be happy with is the depth of the squad is now improving in areas where it was previously weak. Because when Pogba was suspended last year for Man United, we struggled. When Matic went out of form, we struggled. If that happens again this year, we're now not going to be relying on Fellaini to come in there, or maybe Carrot to come back for one game. We've got Fred. Or maybe Fred's going to be so good that he pushes Matic to the side. You know, it's an unknown entity, but someone who United fans will definitely be excited about.
Okay, so Fred has arrived. What happened to all the good Brazilian names? We've got Fred, Alisson. It's not good.
James.
I'm sorry, I'm just slightly annoyed at Brazilian names. They need to improve. Hulk. Yeah, he was decent. I like that. Who do you think Man United still need to sign? Is their midfield sorted out now? How good is Fred? Have you seen him play? Is it decent? I haven't seen him play. Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to Ball Street, like this video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon.